In this lesson, we're going to go ahead and do the perimeter of a square and the area of a square. So obviously, one of the most important features of a square is that all four sides are the same length. So when I'm finding perimeter of a square, I'm welcome to still use the rectangle formula because all squares are rectangles. But since the length and the width are equal, we can simply just do 4 times the side length, and that's the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in my information. The perimeter is 8, so that's going to go in for P. And then this is the length of my side, that's going to go in for S. I'll do a little bit of cleaning up here, and we're going to distribute this 4. And we get 9m squared minus 6m plus 9. And again, since this is a trinomial, I'm going to have to solve it by factoring, which means I'm going to have to subtract 8 on each side. And I'm going to have to go ahead and make my little x here. So we're going to do 9 times 1, that goes in the top, negative 6 in the bottom, and we're going to find our numbers that multiply to make 9 and add to make negative 6, which of course are negative 3 and negative 3. Then we're going to go ahead and rewrite our polynomial. We're going to go ahead and break negative 6 into negative 3 and negative 3. We're going to group them up, and then we're going to factor out the GCF from each group. Parentheses match up, which is a great sign, and then we regroup. So because I have the same thing in each parenthesis, I'm only going to get one answer to this problem, and it's going to be 1/3. So the next problem we're going to do concerns area, and if we want the area of a square, all we have to do is length times width, and because the length is the same as the width, we can actually just take one side and square it and call that the area. So we'll go ahead and plug 84 in for area, 5x minus 3 in for our side. And we actually, anytime we have something that kind of resembles vertex form, we actually want to use the square root method to solve the equation. The worst thing you can do to yourself is write this twice, FOIL it out, and then try to solve by factoring. The reason that's an issue is 1, it's way more steps than needed to solve the problem. And 2, you might not be able to factor it, so that method may not get you anywhere. So instead, we're going to simply remove the squared from the problem by square rooting each side. And we don't want to forget when we take the square root of each side, we need to write plus or minus because there's 2 numbers squared that could get you 84. So then since my idea is I want to get x alone, we're going to go ahead and add 3 to each side. And while we're at it, I'm going to reduce root 84 into 2 root 21. And then all I have to do is divide everything by 5. And I get 2, believe it or not, this is 2 answers. This is positive or negative 2 root 21 plus 3 all over 5 equals x. Now we want to remember that because this is 2 numbers, we're saying the answer could be positive 2 root 21 plus 3 all over 5, or negative 2 root 21 plus 3 all over 5. So these are 2 different numbers. They're just really nasty decimals. But just like we did with our other geometry problems, we just want to make sure if we go with an answer that it makes logical sense with the problem. So this answer right here, negative 2 root 21 plus 3 all over 5, this is going to be a negative number. You could punch it into a calculator and see for yourself, but it's going to be a negative number. So if we put a negative number in here and then subtract 3, we're going to get a negative side length. So we have to reject this negative answer and we have to accept the positive answer as the only solution to this problem.